The story for Borderlands 2 takes place on the planet Pandora once again and puts you in the feet of 4 brand new Vault Hunters who are brought to Pandora in the hopes of finding some sweet loot. What they get instead is the villain of the game, Handsome Jack, blowing up the train they were on because he does not like Vault Hunters. The Vault Hunters do survive and have to stop the evil Handsome Jack from opening the brand new vault, which contains something that can make Jack even more powerful than he already is. Now, Borderlands 1 had almost no real story, no villain, no twist, no nothing really. Borderlands 2 easily fixes this by giving us a memorable and evil as hell villain and plenty of twists and turns and very likable characters throughout. I have to give a huge amount of credit to the writing team at Gearbox because this game is just funny consistently all the way through. This kind of humor really makes me laugh. It's smart but still pretty gross out type humor at times, and I really enjoyed it all the way through. And the story itself is just great in my opinion, so much better than the first one. So there you go, the story in my opinion is great in this game. Now, the sound for Borderlands 2, voice acting wise, I would say it's excellent all around. Nobody did a terrible job, and I would say they all did justice to the hilarious script in the game, and they really matched the characters very well. Okay, well, mostly. There are a couple here and there that really don't match the character and the way they look, but I would still say they did a good job either way. So I would say overall the voice acting here is very humorous and a lot of fun to listen to. The sound design is great, especially with the wide variety of sounds for each gun that you receive, and just the whole cartoony feel that the game actually gives you with all the sound effects. And the soundtrack has a very lively feel to it and works very well when the action starts to ramp up. Overall, I think the sound here is great and works very well for the game. But now let us talk about the graphics, which Borderlands 2, just like Borderlands 1, has a cel-shaded look to it. Now, I've seen plenty of cel-shaded games lately, but this one is definitely one of the best. The environments are big, there are plenty of them, and have a lot of variety to them. They range from snow-covered plains to huge mountains and deserts. Character models and objects have a rugged and jaggy look, which makes them feel like they are straight from a graphic novel or even a comic book. And especially with the characters, which all have a weird, unproportional look to them and make them really look like they jumped out of a cartoon. Now, talking about variety, the amount of different looking guns you get in this game is absolutely staggering. You will never have two guns that look alike at all. Even if you have two of the same guns, they'll have different colors and different emblems on it just to make them look different. And overall, I think Borderlands 2 is a very pretty looking game that uses its coloring and its cel-shaded look perfectly in this game. So you know what? Overall, I think the graphics here are fantastic. But now let us talk about the gameplay, which Borderlands 2 takes everything that the first game did and gives us a much more polished up version with much more to do. It's an open world game with plenty of environments to roam or drive around in and plenty of bad guys to shoot in the face, whether they are human or alien. But doesn't matter, shoot them in the face because all of them have faces. Now, Borderlands 1, like you know, is a first-person shooter. Borderlands 2 is still a first-person shooter, but what they do this time is make it much more polished, make the controls tighter, and at times make it feel like it could even belong in its own first-person shooter game, like Call of Duty. Now, like I said earlier, you get so many different pieces of equipment for each category, which includes guns, class mods, grenade mods, shields, and relics. The loot drops whenever you kill an enemy or find a chest will always make you excited just to see what is in them. You can have guns that can shoot corrosive damage, electric damage, or flame damage, or you can find certain guns like pistols and shotguns, which if you keep pressing the right trigger, you can actually rapid fire them and kill whatever's in front of you. And if you find a certain brand of gun, yes, that's right, there are brands in this game. If you find a certain brand, you can actually reload your gun, and when you reload it, you actually throw the gun at an enemy and the gun will explode right in their face and it'll respawn right in your hands, all reloaded. Nice. So because of the variety of the equipment you get, the huge environments with a lot to explore, and variety of different enemies to kill, the gunplay itself becomes much more better in this game than it was in the first game. Now, even though Borderlands 2 is a shooter, I would say primarily it is a role-playing game. Like I said, you get loot drops all the time, a variety of different enemies to shoot, and environments to explore, and many different pieces of equipment to get. You also have a leveling up system in the game, which works like a standard leveling up system. You have a skill tree that is different for each of the 4 Vault Hunters that you play as, and you gain XP by killing enemies or doing side missions and story missions in the game. But one thing that is actually very different in this game is a thing called badass rank challenges. If you complete one of these challenges, which are things like kill 100 of a certain enemy or use this gun this amount of times, you get badass tokens which will let you permanently upgrade your stats, stuff like health upgrades and gun damage and shield regen delay and so on. Now, to help you get all this XP to level up and even the badass challenges, you have plenty of side missions and story missions for you to complete. If you decide to just beat this game without doing any side missions, it'll probably take you around 20 hours to beat. But if you want to do all of the side missions, I would say it'll take you around 40 to 50 hours. Now remember, this game is highly replayable as well, seeing that there is a new game plus that will let you work on your already high leveled character straight from the beginning of the game. Now I would say the story and side missions in this game are much better than the last game, where it was kind of repetitive in the first game. Here they give you so much more variety, which I have to admit, this game is just filled with variety. Now, one example of a side mission you have to do is you have to protect a little girl's tea party from waves of enemies that want to stop it. Yeah, that's right. That's a mission. The amount of humor and variety in the missions just keep making you come back over and over again. It's highly addicting all throughout, but what makes it all even better is the chance to play the entire game with 3 other players. Yes, that's right. Just like the first game, you get to play the entire campaign with 4-player co-op online. I would say some of your fondest memories in this game will come from the co-op, whether it is from a friend not being good at the driving or leaving you to die so you can get some useless loot. It's just a fun game all the way through, and it is dying to be played in co-op. So you know what, overall I think Borderlands 2 is a game I cannot stop playing. Sure, it has a few glitches here and there and some other problems, but for the most part this is the perfect role-playing game for me. It's addicting, funny as hell, has plenty of guns, and can be played with your friends. If you're on the fence about getting Borderlands 2, then get the hell off that fence and buy it now, because it is an amazing game. Even with its problems, I award Borderlands 2 my third 10 out of 10 this year for being even more than what the first amazing game was. I hope you enjoyed the review, and look out for more Borderlands 2 action on this channel when the first DLC drops next month. Thank you, and get this game now because it's absolutely amazing.